Good morning from Las Vegas. Super excited. I'm gonna go on a special flight today to lose all my weight. It's almost like a cargo combi aircraft. What do flight attendants do on zero-G flight? I think this might be a bad decision. I feel we're really climbing now.
Slowly float off the floor. We don't
This is crazy. I can never do push-ups so easily. Oh!
Aviator duck. Our goal is to keep him floating and spinning.
It feels like I was in the shoes of an astronaut for one day, and I absolutely love it.
Good.
Thank you. Boarding the 727 G-Force One. Sitting in the front row here, and it's a very unusual configuration. It's almost like a cargo combi aircraft. You have the two-thirds fuselage as a open gymnasium, and then you have 7 or 8 rows of seats at the back, right?
There are 3 entry doors, 1 forward and 2 in the aft part of the aircraft. There are 4 overwing window exits. Only after exiting the aircraft, pull down on the red tabs to inflate the vest.
What do flight attendants do on zero-G flight?
Well, our main job is to make sure everyone gets on and off the plane safely, whether it's a regular landing or in the event of an emergency. We're really trained for that.
So no food and beverages serving this
No
time?
food and beverage. We got snacks for you guys later, don't worry.
Man, I'm excited.
Excited, right?
Yeah.
I'm nervous, actually. I think this might be a bad decision. How do you feel, Mario?
Awesome, dude.
Awesome? First time? Second
First
time?
time.
First time. Okay. Any expectation?
Yeah, I'm gonna be weightless in 10 minutes.
Let's do that. So I was sitting in the first row, and there was a kind gentleman agreed to swap the seats to have a window view for better making that video of a takeoff of the 727. So there are 25 of us on board this flight. Our Boeing 727 continued to climb to 25,000 feet in the designated airspace. You really don't need any prior training, as there are instructors on board, and all of us attended a short briefing before the flight. When we reached the cruising altitude, our shoes and loose belongings were taken away. We were told now to enter the forward fuselage. That's where the fun began. For 5 minutes out, I was told, from the first maneuvering.
When we reach our airspace, what we'll do is we'll say on the full, and at that point the plane will start ascending, and that means that we're going to experience 1.8 times the normal amount of gravity. When that happens, everyone's going to lay flat on their back and look at one point on the ceiling, so it's way more comfortable because your neck is not meant to support almost double gravity. Then at the peak of that parabola, everyone will just slowly float off the floor. We don't have to give a command for that because you will feel it. Then right when we're reaching the bottom of that parabola, you'll hear feet down, coming down. So that means that the plane is coming out. It's not an invitation to do one more flip. It means get your feet underneath you because we're about to come on the bottom of the parabola. And that's how we do parabolas here at Zero-G.
Wow, I can feel we're really climbing now. We're 1 minute from the first maneuvering. Whoa, I can feel the G's right now. When the zero gravity moment happened, you can easily feel it in your body that you're weightless and begin to float. We had fun with water droplets and candy floating around. We did a total of 12 parabolas before we returned to Las Vegas to land, and it was a day to remember for the rest of my life. We just landed back to Las Vegas. What an experience, one of a kind. This is probably the closest experience feeling weightless, feeling like a NASA astronaut as well, right?
I think the coolest thing was throwing the little football to watch it just soar weightlessly through the air. It didn't respond to gravity as you would expect, and so when you pushed it in a direction, it just continued to go indefinitely in that direction.
I think the same for water droplets, the candy. Yeah, it's really amazing. It floats, everything floats. Oh, the stickers, 727, love it.
Yes, we have lots of stickers.
Oh, wow, this is the magic place to make all the parabolas happens.
We only went just north of here. We were in the desert military operations area just north of Nellis. It only took us about 15 minutes to get there, and we climbed up to about 25,000 feet and started our parabolas once we were in the airspace. So typically what we're going to do is we're going to get the airplane going as fast as we can go, which in this aircraft with the quiet wing conversion, which is winglets, we can get it up to 350 indicated, and once we get to 350 knots at 25,000 feet, we start pulling at about 1.6 to 1.7 Gs, pull it up to about 45 degrees nose up, and once it starts to get slow, the co-pilot is going to retard the number 1 and 3 engine and bring the number 2 back to about halfway, and the captain pushes forward on the stick. The aircraft enters the parabola as we're climbing, topping out about 30,000 feet and back down to 25. You get about 30 seconds of weightlessness or microgravity, depending on whether we're doing lunar or Martian or Zero-G. All right, so here we have some fancy gizmos that we use to fly in zero gravity, but primarily what we're going to use is the aviator duct. This is our main sensor that we use to determine our parabola quality. So what we're going to do is when we push into the zero, we're going to have him float up, and we'll keep him right here, and we can measure drift back and forth and negative or positive G. Our goal is to keep him floating and spinning like an astronaut duck right here, and sometimes we'll pass him back and forth between the crew members, and we want him to rest gently at the end of the parabola back on the glare shield. And he gets to fly a lot. He's been with us since the beginning.
So you're releasing the plane before you are stalling the airplane to go down?
That's correct, yeah. So just before we get to the minimum speed, we do a countdown. The captain pushes forward on the stick. As the aircraft enters the parabola, it continues to slow as we climb. And it can get to as slow as 140. I've seen even as low as 120 knots at the top of the parabola. But because we're completely unloaded, the wing is not generating lift. The aircraft won't stall. So we'll continue over the arc of the parabola at a very slow speed, even below the speed that we generally take off at, with fully configured with flaps, and come down the other side. And as it accelerates, we gain the speed that we can apply lift to the wings, and then as we go positive, we can pull out of the dive. The funny thing, actually, I've seen, we get so slow at the top of the parabola that here in Vegas, about 7 years ago, we had a 200 knot headwind. We were actually able to fly the airplane backwards. Nellis Control reported that we were flying backwards during the parabolas.
Wow.
Really neat.
So as you can see, everything shut down. We are at the end of the flight, and I met up with the CEO here from Zero-G. I think, sir, you have the best job. How many Zero-G flights you have been on?
I've done about 65 so far.
65 weightless experience, massive. Now, can you give us a bit of recap today? How many parabolas we did and what happened during the flight?
So our normal flight profile is 15 parabolas. We start off with 3 lunar parabolas to get you a feel for what it's like to be on the moon, which is very cool. At that point, you have some control over where you are, what you're doing, things of that sort. And then after we've done the 3 lunars, we then start with zeros. Now, zeros, you have no control where you are, what you're doing, or what's going on. And your ability to navigate is literally by small motions, pushing off gently from a fixed object to propel you in some direction. And then at that point, depending on your comfort, you're doing somersaults or backflips or just floating on air without feeling anything. Hanging upside down is kind of fun. It doesn't rush to your head. You don't know what's up, down, right, or left. What was your takeaways?
I was very nervous at the beginning, and I actually got butterfly in my stomach, and I wasn't sure what to expect, right? Never done something in a zero gravity space. And then when I got on board, I followed the instructions and also wearing a wristband to, this is anti-motion sickness. And when the first and second gravity exercise started, I just go with the flow, and I became better and better at everyone. And then I want more and more because it was so fun. At the end, I just don't want to stop because I can do backflipping, I can do completely floating, and I ate a candy in the space as well. It felt like I was in the shoes of an astronaut for one day, and I absolutely love it. For those who like to experience Zero-G flight like I did, use discount code SAMTREE5 to get 5% off your Zero-G flight at checkout on GoZeroG.com. Thanks for watching.